Hello and welcome to Auto and Operator, a motorsports podcast that covers largely the Indycar series, based here in America with one measly international race that is in Toronto, Canada. So definitely U.S. based if you're new to the entire sport, but you're probably not because you're listening to this. And if you're listening to this, you're probably interested in IndyCar. Moving on. My name is Derek. I am one of two hosts of the show. The second host is my brother. We currently live in different cities, so that makes it a little bit difficult to have conversational podcasts. We're trying to work that out. I think for this first one, we're just going to both talk about, different things, different predictions, that sort of thing in one podcast. We definitely don't want to pull a Marshall Pruitt and Robin Miller where I'm on the phone with my brother and you have crap audio from him and good audio from me. I just have higher standards of quality than that. So we're not going to do that. We'll do it separate and just see how it goes. We're definitely new at this, and we're eager to sort of go on this little journey with the few hundred fans that we will hopefully get. So I actually work with a company that is very close to the Verizon IndyCar series, so I sort of I wouldn't say I have an insider's view at all, but perhaps some of the rumors I hear are more accurate than the rumors that float around on Racer.com comments and forums, just for example. So first thing I want to talk about, I just want to talk about the race. St. Petersburg race is great. For a street race, street races could be incredibly boring. I think as far as the street race goes, this is pretty exciting. Of course, no one got through turns 1, 2, and 3 cleanly. That would be too much to ask, I think. There's too many Charlie Kimballs for that to happen. There's only one, and it's too many. Anyway, so the way I want to go about this, I sort of want to cover the results and just talk about the teams and the results of everyone on the team, and just sort of move through the paddock that way. I want to start with Dale Coyne, Bourdais, the winner. Wow, definitely a great upset. Definitely a great first story for IndyCar this year. It's not the big boys winning already, because honestly it's really predictable, and any casual fan won't be excited if the same person's always winning. So that formula of IndyCar where anyone can win, it's still not really accurate all the time. Majority of the wins go to the guys with the biggest budgets. It doesn't matter how spec you make the car, it still ends up that way. So it's great when the strategy hits it right, and Dale Coyne, pits Bourdais early, and they have the pace. They had the pace. I mean, he caught Pagenaud, passed him up, and then ran away with it. So it's annoying to see the people that say it was handed to Bourdais. I mean, yes, the opportunity was there, but he could have just sat in second or third or wherever he was on that restart and just slowly drop back in the field if he was slow. But he wasn't slow. Since we're on Dale Coyne, I want to touch on Ed Jones. Ed Jones was in third at one point. He was really kicking some butt. Not really sure what happened to him. I'm not sure if he got sort of cut out by the pits or just lost ground, but he seemed quick. He ended up finishing mid-pack, 10th. That's okay. It's a very solid debut. Last year's Indy Lights champion. Slightly controversial because his teammate let him by. But it's like that's totally what would happen if any fan was a team owner. That's what they would have done. So I definitely don't blame Carlin for that because it's what I would have done, and he won. And now he's with his money from that, and I'm sure from several United Arab Emirates companies or mommy and daddy, I don't know who. He got this Dale Coyne ride, and he's already showing. He's the only full-time rookie this year, and I think it's important for those rookies to show their face and, try and win. Moving on, second place, Simon Pagenaud, first of the Penske's. Ooh, the Penske's. Very solid champion, very deserving champion. Last year, he really kicked some butt. He's a very good ambassador for the sport. So, but I hope he's challenged. I really hope he's challenged. And he definitely will be by Joseph Newgarden this year. And then, of course, Will Power, Elio Castroneves. Joseph Newgarden, of course, is the crown jewel this year. Everyone's just waiting to see what he does. He didn't have the best race. I mean, he finished 8th. I mean, it's solid, I guess, for a debut. But with Penske, I don't know. I don't know if it's that, it's better than nothing, I guess. I imagine he'll be a championship contender because he's got some serious skill. Elio Castroneves, he finished 6th, whatever. I'm sort of indifferent about Elio. There's rumors he'll be going to the DPI program with Penske and IMSA in the coming years, and he'll join Montoya potentially. So I think that would be great, And then him as a one-off for the 500 makes sense. I don't know. I think the new generation really needs to be ushered in to get a new generation of fans. The longer we have, the older guys in there sort of, taking up a spot, the less interest you'll have from, anyone that's a young gun. Not to discredit his talent. Of course, he's extremely talented, but he hasn't shown for a couple of years, and I think this will be a sort of do or die season for him. And then he got Willpower. He had some engine issues or mechanical issues or whatever, and so he was having an okay race, whatever. I like Willpower. I mean, he doesn't blow me away though, but. Again, I'm sure he'll be a contender. Obviously he did away with St. Pete last year. He could do away with it this year too. Penske will be tough as usual, but Honda has certainly stepped up their game in terms of power. They upped the engine power, and it just pushes through all of the shortcomings of the Aero kit, I think. Let's see, 3rd place is Scott Dixon. Ganassi. Ganassi is, of course, fast, not surprising. They have a lot of resources to throw at that Honda Aero kit. They've definitely shown. Scott Dixon with a solid result. Of course, Kimball wrecked out Graham early, so he finished way down there in 18th. Kanaan, solid race. I think he had the contact with elation, caused the yellow, so he lost some spots there. And Max Chilton was having a good race. I'm not sure what happened with Max Chilton, but he seemed quick and very aggressive, so I'm really pulling for him this year. Yeah, I'm really pulling for him. He needs to show, I think. Yes, he brings plenty of money, just like Kimball does, and doesn't necessarily have to show. He seems to be a cool, really chill guy, so I hope he steps up his game and starts beating, his teammates and in the very least, and starts to really show. Kimball, I don't want to spend time on Kimball because I don't really like Kimball. He wrecks people out too often. He always goes on borrowed pavement to try and pass someone, and that pavement ends or something like that, and all of a sudden he's there in a gap that he shouldn't be in. Like Will Power at Watkins Glen, he went over the white line, which it means something in the road going world and the racetrack world as well. White line means anything beyond this is temporary. And he went over that line at Watkins Glen, got basically his front wheels even with Will Power's rear wheels, and guess what? The pavement end, and there's Charlie just sitting there, and he wipes out Power. Of course, Charlie regains control and passes him, and whatever. I'm not a fan. Kanaan, again, he's ripped, and he's ready to go. He's 20th year in IndyCar, and I hope he gets some wins. So him and Dixon, I'm sure, will be a force to be reckoned with at some point in the season. Ryan HunterReay got Sato after Sato about took him out towards, I think it was like the last restart or something. Sato just dive bombed like 5 cars. It's like he just went straight through the apex. He didn't hit the apex like normal people. About took out HunterReay. If you watch the IndyCar remix, it has some colorful language from Ryan HunterReay to Takuma Sato after he passed him back right before the end. So that was some good little banter that was ignored by ABC broadcast, but that's irrelevant, isn't it? Marco needs to prove himself this year. Like every year, he hasn't yet, but I have hope with Herta. Again, he's not one of my top 5 because honestly he hasn't really shown a lot. But I hope Ryan HunterReay gets up there. I still think he's a very underrated driver as drivers go. And same with Rossi. He certainly seemed to show pace, and he was struggling. He had a cut tire towards the end. He was showing off some serious car control because he wanted to stay on strategy, or him and his team, rather. And he was just wrestling this car with a cut tire, and it was just like all sorts of squirrely, and he kept it on track. So serious props to Rossi, and I hope he gets some wins this season. James Hinchcliffe, he was running away with it, the poor guy. He got screwed on the yellow caution scenario. I would like to see him start winning again. I think the whole Schmidt-Peterson crew is capable of winning more. They just need to. They just need to do it. I know Elation will get it done this year. I have confidence, especially at the super speedways. I think he's got a shot, especially with Honda's additional power that they have now. Got some serious confidence in Elation and some confidence in Hinch. Again, he showed me that he could pull out and head towards victory with there at St. Pete. He did. He just got screwed with his strategy. So unfortunate for them, but I hope they come back strong. I think they could do it. J.R. Hildebrand didn't have a radical, earth-shattering debut back in the sport. He's been very vocal about performing very quickly. He's definitely pushing, and I believe he'll get better, but that was a very mundane result. And actually, Spencer Pigot was beating the crap out of him. He was passing everybody. Pigot was showing that he deserves the ride that JR has. So honestly, and if Pigot shows him up at every track he's at, which is not the case because Pigot obviously had an exploding rear disc for St. Pete, but in the future, if he shows up Hildebrand, I think there will be talk. Hildebrand's solid, and I hope he does well, but he needs to watch out for Pigot because he's obviously more confident. He was passing people left and right. And then let's go down. Connor Daly and Carlos Munoz. Unfortunate first race for them. Have high hopes for this Foyt team after they did basically a serious reboot. Connor Daly, solid. I was hoping for him to be up there again. Not sure why. I know he was involved in some of the contact in the first couple cautions. Munoz obviously was thrown into the wall by Charlie Kimball. It's unfortunate. So Carlos, he's very consistent. He'll come back strong, I believe. Foyt and Coyne both had some serious team reboot, and I think they deserve some good results. Ray Hall, he was in a good position. He would have been fast. He is fast. I have high hopes for them, especially at Indy this year. I know they're really trying to focus on that development because they were sort of nowhere in the running for Indy. And, there's no reason why, they can't be battling for the championship at this point. He's had some really solid results, and he needs to start showing them. And I think it's not a question of if, it's when. So I hope they don't get screwed out of any more races by, Charlie Kimball contact or any other stupid contact. I think this will be a great year for IndyCar. It started out great, Bourdais winning. It's just different. When you're a series that's near spec, it sucks even more when the two big teams run away with things because that everything is at the hands of the small guys and they just can't get it done. So I hope the smaller teams just keep pummeling on the big boys. So really excited to see what Long Beach brings. If you have NBCSN, Xfinity, or whatever that allows you to stream that, it's on April 9th at 4 o'clock, NBCSN. So be sure to tune in, and be sure to tune in for future auto and operators. And we'll see you next time.